Welcome to Hanging Out with Robert, that's me. This video contains things that I tinker with throughout the day. For step-by-step detailed instructions of those tasks, you can click on the links in the comment section below. I plan on leaving this video accessible for about 30 days. After that, you can view it through my Patreon account. This video also has tips and tricks that I've learned over the years. So, thank you very much for watching. Down at the junkyard doing reconnaissance. It is very windy, so I'm not going to have much of video because this stuff will be very noisy. I know they dropped a C70. I want to see if that's a T5, what features it had. It's a 2000 model. Check a few other things while I'm down here just to glance around. Make sure they don't have no 850 manuals here. So this is what's going out next Monday. Man, look at that tail fin on that Civic. That's fast. Ooh, a Mini Cooper. Don't see too many of those. Wow. This Volvo C30. Seeing all the action it's gonna see. Man, that thing had to flip over. Goodness. That thing is total. I don't know if I ever seen one that jacked up. It was a T5. I think all the C30s are T5. Man, they destroyed that thing. BMW Z3. Wow. Another Cooper. Countryman. That's, I think, the sports edition. Somebody called, interrupted my videoing. But there's a Mini Cooper Countryman. I think that's one of their sports models. A Z3 Beamer. And had a lot of cars to put out Monday. It appears that the wind has died down a little bit. It was blowing at 20 miles an hour and gusting. But hey, right now, seems pretty mild. So I'm gonna go ahead and shoot some little bit of videos, shoot some video clips. Today's the 10th. Here's the new row 108. Here's the next crush row 919. So let's see what we got on the new row here. I hadn't been here for a few days, so man, I just don't know what to expect. Look like they've been hitting them a little bit, but it was pretty cold today. We actually had snow on the ground this morning. This looks like kind of a new car, an 09 Camry. When they're 10 years old, they ride out here. BMW, Scion, nice little wing on the back. And I see that Volvo C70 up there. I don't know why my camera is giving me somewhat of a fisheye view, wide angle view. That's confusing as heck. It's a 2000 C70. Oscar already hit it, took the wheels. Doo-doo-doo. Probably has a big power amp back here. There it is, 400 watt power amp. Got the rear deck speakers. Somebody had it wired for something right there. Let's see what's going on. Doo-doo-doo. Oh, we got a jammed or locked door. Tires worn out. Low pressure turbo. It doesn't have blue injectors. Somebody had an aftermarket security system on it. That front bumper isn't too destroyed, but the paint's cracked up on it. It's been repainted. Still got a little ice on there from this morning. Got a decent corner light on it. Do. Yep. It's got the regular calipers. Man, they take a lot of space even on that. 280s. Look like it's got the stock anti-sway bar. They busted up the fender with the forklift. Thank you, workers. Interior trim is a little bit cracked up and starting to peel. I guess that's one way to take the radio and climate control out. Let's get a freaking jackhammer, jack it out that way. We're brilliant people. Somebody had some special cables wired in. Cut those too. Yeah, this car had a nice DIY mechanic. They must didn't know where YouTube was. Sunroof. I hear these sunroofs may be unique. Oh, somebody took the sun visor mirror. That's a brilliant move as well. Seats must be jacked. They got horrible seat covers on them. Seats don't fold up. Let me crawl back there and see what's going on. Still has the Dolby unit in there, and it's got an original heater core. So let's assume that's why it's in here. It blew the heater core. So not much useful here. C70, folks. Somebody had a backup camera installed on it. How neat. Looks like the roof trim is okay. It's got a Volvo windshield. It's got a crack in it though. Let me look at a couple more and get out of here. Well, that's it for me. Wind is picking back up. Nothing for me to grab. A red V70 99 slick top was a neat sight. But I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, go by the store and call it a day. Working on YouTube videos. Want to make a brief video about coolant temps. Your coolant temp gauge is there. Whenever you start your car in the morning and the coolant temp is all the way down to the bottom, your coolant temp should warm up if you start driving. As you can see my coolant temp there. And you start driving, it should warm up to about 190 degrees in just a mile or two. The temp gauge in my 850 is different from almost all other cars I've ever had. That needle locks in at the 3 o'clock position, normal temp, at about 173 degrees Fahrenheit. And it will stay there, locked in at that position, until it gets up to about 238 degrees. At 238 degrees, it starts to rise, which lets me know that I'm getting closer to overheating. Now, while I'm driving around, usually that temp gauge in the winter, like it is now, as you can see, is 34 degrees. It's riding between 190 degrees, which I think is where the thermostat closes, and it'll rise as high as 204 degrees, where the thermostat is probably full open. Again, your temperature gauge should be locked in at 3 o'clock from 175 degrees Fahrenheit to 238 degrees Fahrenheit. Won't move at all. If you're driving around, winter or summer, and you ever see that gauge dip down, it is now too cold. You shouldn't see that gauge move down at all, if you see that gauge dip down while you're driving, the thermostat is probably stuck open or broken. I would work on replacing it as soon as possible. Now, if you're driving around and you're in heavy traffic and the climate outside is warm, that temperature of the coolant will rise. As you can see there on my gauge, as I sit here, it'll probably rise up slowly because the car's not moving. It's not bringing any air across the radiator. If you have a stock tune in the car, which means from the factory, your 850 will cause the fan to come on at 216 degrees Fahrenheit. Then that fan will draw the air across the radiator and it will cool the car down to 206 degrees and the fan will cut off. My car has had a tune by Vast Tuning, and they have moved that fan range down. Now with the Vast Tuning, at 206 degrees, my fan cuts on, and at 196 degrees, my fan cuts off. So, in a couple seconds here, you may see my fan cut on. It did cut on. Let me get over here voltage so you can maybe see the fluctuation in the voltage. And this fan will cause air to come across the radiator, start to cool the coolant temp down, and when it gets down to 196, you may see the fluctuation in my voltage and the fan will cut back off. I can hear it running. I don't know if you can. The fan just cut back off, 196 degrees. So there you have it. Your temperature gauge should rise quickly when you start the car, drive around. It'll be locked in at that 3 o'clock position, 175 degrees Fahrenheit, and it will stay there until it gets to 238 degrees Fahrenheit. If you see that temperature gauge start to rise, that means that your coolant temperature is in excess of 238 degrees, which is getting close to overheating. It should hit the red spot on your gauge somewhere in there. I'm not trying to find out where that is. I have seen mine rise while I was going through the desert, 110 degrees climbing a hill. Now, the coolant system in these P80 cars and in most vehicles now is a pressurized system. If you have the proper coolant mix in the vehicle, that coolant should not begin to boil until 275 degrees. At 275 degrees, the system starts to boil. It adds excessive pressure in the system as it's boiling. That is what causes head gaskets to blow as the head warps. If your vehicle does not have a pressurized system, the coolant in there, if it's mixed properly and in good condition, will start to boil at 265 degrees. So if you got a pressurized system, you get 10 more degrees. You should not blow a head if the coolant is not boiling. If you're running water, that brings that boiling temperature way down, about 225 degrees. You'll boil the water in the system and blow the head. Now, if you have a P80 that's a 1999 or 2000, the fan is programmed to cut on around 224 and cut off at 214. So, there you have it. How the temperature gauge works, how the fan works. I hope that helps. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.